Welcome back. This is EC's EDC, and today we are taking a look at the Filip Raboch Wanderer. A very special bag to me, dare I say, my favorite bag to date. And I'm here to give you what I would consider a pretty good term review. I've had this for almost 8 months, and have used it very regularly for both my everyday carry to work, weekend usage, but also quite a bit of travel as a two-bag system, this and a roller. So hopefully, this is a bag that interests you. This is informative, and you can, get some tangible information regarding this bag and whether it could work for you. But let's jump in and take a look. So before we really break into the bag and get to look at the layout and what this offers, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the materials and the specs. So first up, let's talk about literage. When this bag is compressed and the roll top is closed, it's a 23-liter bag, but expands up to 30 liters. It is lightweight, so it comes in at 1.7 pounds or 800 grams, and the dimensions are 20.5 inches by 10 inches by 5.5. In centimeters, that's 52 centimeters by 26 by 14. Now, one of the coolest things about Filip Raboch and the products he offers, you can do a lot of customization with him. That includes features to a degree. Back in the day, he used to offer pretty much full-blown custom bags. Now he's doing things scaled down, which is smart because he can keep the design and the structure pretty templated and make modifications based on what isn't too time-consuming, but also feasible, and to allow him to continue to make goods. And the Wanderer is a bag that comes in this template. It's a dual style backpack. You get clamshell and roll top, 2 bottle pockets, and there's a fixed layout, 1 major pocket on the front here behind the zipper, a couple internal pockets, side access for the bag and your tech. It's multi-purposed, and a very large quick access pocket at the top. Now, in terms of customization, you're free to choose your materials. So you can choose, different panels can be different materials, different colors. I opted for EcoPak's EPLX 600. This is the graphite color. So it's a Recore recycled material that gives this really hardy and stout feeling fabric with a nice laminated back. And it's my first time using the EPLX 600, and I'm really glad that Filip kind of convinced me to go for it. He was like, I think you're gonna like it, and he was right. It's very cool. But you can also customize the inside and the inside of your pockets, and so you really get to make the bag your own, and it's unique, and it's exactly the way you want it to look, which is really cool. Downside, it's expensive, no doubt. Building a backpack with a maker such as Filip is going to cost you a good amount of money. But if you're doing it because you love the bag and you want to really make something of your own, I think it is worth it. So I would definitely advocate to go ahead and do it if it's not going to be breaking the bank for you. So this is mine. The EPLX 600 is probably one of my favorite parts of the bag. Now, it might look right now a little grayish, maybe a little blue, but depending on the lighting and what is sort of refracting on it, it has taken shades of green and purple, and just depending on the day and the lighting, it's got a unique hue each time I look at it, and that alone is very cool. Not to mention its durability and weatherproof properties. So anyways, fabric's awesome. Choose your own stuff. Check out his website. There's a ton of options there. Let's get into what this bag is. So to start, you get a clamshell opening, right? So this is gonna be a full beaver tail that opens and closes. But on top of that, you're also getting a fidlock system, which enables you to leverage 7 liters of expansion in a roll top. Now the Wanderer, this bag, Filip makes a roll top, he makes a standard backpack, which is the day pack, and this sort of marries those philosophies. And so this bag is really targeting EDC, travel, urban exploring, throw your camera in here, walk around the city, go find graffiti, whatever. It's very versatile. And that's one of the things that I like about it best. Not to mention, I got to sort of pick and choose what I wanted the bag to look like. So let's just dive in. So looking at the front of the bag, you can see here that I have chosen to add on this ultra stretch mesh with some shock cord, which has these little loop attachments that it just runs through. The shock cord is removable, but I am a huge fan of a nice big stretch mesh pocket in the front. Just an easy dump and go pocket when you're on the move. There is also a very good sized front pocket. Doesn't have a ton of dimension. It does have some, but it is, I've got this Evergoods, element pouch, and inside here is a little key leash with some Woojin hardware. And you can see, if you look inside here, this is going to show the EPX 70RS liner that I chose. And you'll see this in different parts of the bag. I chose this just because it's lightweight. I had never seen it before in person, and I thought the diamond and the white, almost translucent look to it was kind of unique and cool. And it also gives me a nice, I would call it high visibility background. So that's the front pocket. Dump pocket here, fantastic, super useful. On the side of the bag, we have two stretch mesh pockets. These are fantastic. Almost as good as Evergoods pockets. Evergoods is just dual layer, and I think that's the only reason I would call them better. These things swallow everything. There hasn't been a bottle or, a larger item that I've struggled to get in these. And so that's your 1 liter Nalgene. All these other bottles that I have right here, your Yeti, your Ambler, everything just no problem. There's no issues. 32 ounce Awala, no problem. So bottle pockets on Filip Raboch's bags, incredible. Now you will see here on the side, the fidlock system does run into the bottle pocket. He's had it got sewn all the way down, and it keeps everything hidden and out of the way. You can get a little strappy once you have the roll top straps and extended, but the strap keepers he's added help keep everything very streamlined and just clean and out of the way. So looking at the other side, this is probably a better view because there is something else on there. Behind the fidlock, you'll see there's a small compression strap. This is going to be great for cinching the bag down when you're not really using its full capacity, but also you want to stick a tripod. Filip's an outdoorsman, so maybe a hiking pole or an ice pick. Whatever you need, you've got a nice compression strap here to really help you leverage the bag in different ways. On this side of the bag, we see the side access, and we'll jump back into this later, but this is going to show you your tech storage, and you can kind of get a hand into the bag on the other side, but this is pretty separated from the main compartment. On the top of the bag, we have the quick access pocket. This has got to be the largest quick access or top pocket I've seen on a bag to my memory. Now, I've just got a whole bunch of stuff in here. This is a alpaca passport wallet. I've got a cell phone, a triple-aught design booster pod. I've got my work badge, and I got a hero card in there. Now this material is also stretch mesh, and it allows you to just jam it full. We'll take a look at how that material sort of drapes onto the inside, but this material's been great with my electronics. It's been great with glasses that aren't in cases, and you know, I was just really blown away by how large this is. I thought the Evergoods yoke pocket was big. This thing is huge. So super useful. Awesome to have a nice sizable pocket like that up at the top. You never have to worry about if you're gonna have enough space for those smaller items when you're just trying to throw them into the bag. So that's the exterior. No padding here on the bottom. Remember, this is sort of working with Filip's ethos, lightweight bags with high materials, so not a lot of extra padding in places that you really don't need it. The laptop sleeve and the tech area, that is suspended, and you have a lot of padding on the harness system, which we'll take a look at now. So this is your back panel, and if you've ever seen a bag by Filip, you'll notice this is a very familiar looking spacer mesh. Very comfortable, very soft. I do think this is a newer version. It looks slightly different and a little bit more plush than some of the bags that I owned previously. But in terms of comfort, Filip's bags are some of the most comfortable bags I've ever worn. I think that's really what draws me to his products. Having what feels like nothing on your back, the straps are just super plush and they're comfortable. There's never any digging. The width between the straps is just perfect. They don't slide. It's kind of magic. I don't know how else to describe it, but it continues to bring me back to trying different products whenever I have the ability to. Now the Wanderer also comes with load lifters, which is great. You know, this is sort of it's a versatile bag, right? It's good for everyday travel or everyday usage. Plus, you can really use it for travel. So when it is weighted out, when it's heavy, maybe you're using a camera cube and you've got a whole bunch of lenses in here. The sternum or the doodads, the load lifters, they're helpful and they help keep that load, you know, nice and tight. He includes a Fidlock slider little sternum strap, and the Woojin hardware down here is aluminum, and there are strap keepers. So super comfortable bag, and before we open the bag, we'll just take a look at the tech compartment. So this zipper does extend down under the wing. There are two little nylon loops where you could fasten some sort of hip belt if you really needed the extra support. I've never done that. And there's also a little zipper garage all the way up here at the top that this kind of snugs up into. This will fit a 16-inch Mac. I typically just travel with a 13-inch MacBook Pro and an iPad, and they both slide right back here, no problem. Again, you're able to see that EPX 70RS interior liner that I've chosen. So let's take a look at the inside of the bag. There's a few features left to view, and we're gonna do that through the clamshell. Everything is just a little easier, wrong zipper, easier to use from this angle. So 23 liters is what Filip advertises this bag at when the roll top is totally compressed. I would agree. I think, you know, 23 liters is pretty accurate. This is just my regular stuff. This is one of Filip's admin pouches, and I've owned a few of these, and these are very well made as well. Everything he makes is top-notch, second to none in quality. Definitely encourage you to check out his website and look through some of the products he offers. So inside the bag, we can see there's one super large pocket. Again, more of this stretch mesh to accommodate larger, bulkier items. And, you know, in here, I just keep a couple flat items to make the rest of this a little easier. Just field notes for size reference, and then my journal that I have been bringing with me more often lately. On top, we see that quick access pocket, and you can see how large it really is. It's quite sizable. You know, this is an entirety of a passport wallet right here, hanging down. Very large, and that stretch mesh really allows you to just make the most of it. Behind that quick access pocket, we do see a zipper which exposes the frame sheet that's in here to give the bag a little support. And other than that, you know, there's nothing in the base of the bag besides that 70 RS liner, and you can see the laminate backing of the EPLX 600 graphite material. So spinning the bag around, we get to look at the inside of the panel. And again, more of this stretch mesh to accommodate larger, bulkier items. I try to keep smaller, slimmer things in here just to keep the packing easy, but you know, this is my snack pouch. And up here we have another pocket with actually another small pouch that Philip made. And this is where you'll start to see some of the ocean blue accents, the EcoPack ocean blue that I chose as another bit of liner. And I think that's also, yeah, that's back here too. So, you know, this is the first bag I've ever like custom built before, because it's such an expensive endeavor, and I kind of went a little conservative. I'm okay admitting that, because I wasn't sure, you know, am I gonna love the bag 100% when it arrives? And I wanted to be able to have my options open, you know, in case I didn't like it, wanting to be able to resell it. But, you know, I'm really satisfied. I think the colors look great. I'm happy with what I chose. Would have I gone a little bit more wild? Perhaps. But I'm very satisfied, and I love the EPLX 600 exterior. So everyday carry, I'm just gonna zip this up. This has got tech, headphones, notebook, a small jacket, as it's starting to kind of be warm and cold at the same time. Water bottles fit in these side pockets, fantastic. A koozie. But yeah, incredible bag. Philip knocked this out of the park. If you're able to get one of these, I definitely recommend it. Now, while this is packed for everyday carry, I did want to take some time and just throw a couple packing cubes in here so you can see what this bag looks like, you know, when you're using it in a travel sense. So really quick, we'll just unload it, throw a couple different cubes in here, and we'll see how it goes. So medium peak design cube, the big one. I would say it's full, it's not overpacked. And there are items, remember, in the front pocket, in the stretch pocket, on the inside of the panel. That zips up no problem. Maybe you can put something down there that's thin. But that's how much space the medium cube occupies inside the bag. And you know, this, if you were traveling with this, I mean, you would go way more minimal than this Air Travel Kit 2 as a DOP kit. But between that, you know, headphones, sure. You know, you can see, and the roll top is closed, right? So 23 liters, large packing cube, couple small pouches, headphones, and a sizable DOP kit. And if you wanted to go a little bit more minimal, you got the Peak Design small one. And I think that would be far more suitable for a smaller bag, if you were one bag traveling and not relying on a secondary bag. and that fits in there great. We can even continue to stuff some stuff in here. I don't think I mentioned it, but the zippers are YKK, and while they are aqua guarded, these broke in on like the third zip, you know, when it was brand new. And they are, you know, typically super easy to use one-handed. So you're gonna be able to really leverage this bag. The roll top does give you up to 30 liters, as the website says and Filip says. This does have quite a few rolls. And what's really unique, not too unique, but nice to see, there's magnets sewn in the top of the roll top. Nice touches. So let's throw in a pair of running shoes inside this Western Rise little shoe bag, right on top. And let's see what this thing looks like when it's pretty packed out. Yeah. The magnet from the mic stuck to the fidlock. And I lost it. There it is. Technical difficulties. So, if you do find yourself in a situation where you really need more literage, this is going to give you up to 30 liters. That's probably not a great visual representation of, you know, using the top, because there's just a bulky pair of shoes sitting up here. It kind of looks terrible. But you do get a ton of flexibility. And the last thing that I wanted to share, after going through some of those travel loadouts with some different packing cubes, is I took it on my first trip and I realized how much I missed having a luggage pass through. You know, you get to a gate, you have a transfer, or you sit down to have a meal in the airport. I'm so used to, without even thinking about it, just putting my bag right on top of the roller luggage. This doesn't have a luggage pass-through. So I reached out to Filip a few weeks after I had the bag and was starting to first use it. And I asked him, would you be able to, you know, create a simple luggage pass-through? And on the side of the bag where the compression straps are attached, there's this small little loop. And Filip was like, yeah, no problem. I can definitely do that for you. And so using these simple gatekeepers, which I just kind of stow it there when I'm not using it. Get the straps out of the way. This very simple sternum strap just slides across into the other little nylon loop, and suddenly I have, when I need it, a luggage pass-through, which has worked great. It's tall, it barely fits, but you know, that's all I need it for. It just has to catch the handle on the luggage. So that's a nice little add-on that he was able to do. You know, of course I paid Filip for that, as well as the bag. But that's probably one of the only critiques I have is, you know, it is kind of like that travel bag Wanderer. It will work as one bag travel, but if you are two bagging it, you know, that was, I didn't really think about that until I went to go use it, and I was like, oh, I kind of missed the luggage pass-through. So, awesome bag. Filip, again, makes high quality products, really second to none. Haven't seen a loose stitch on this yet, and I don't baby my bags. This thing it's pretty dirty, and you know, I use it. You should use your gear. You shouldn't, you know, throw it in the closet and forget about it. But I really think this is my favorite bag right now, 2025. A lot of great bags out there, but this I think is my favorite all-purpose backpack. And I'm very thankful that I own it. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have a great day.